So for my manipulative, I chose to use the Unifix cubes. I remember doing a lot of these. My mom is a teacher and she would bring these home all the time, and we would practice them with using patterns, number sequence, a lot of different things. Like I would skip count and I would practice counting on each one and doing the different colors, mix and matching. And so those are like the main things that I have always used for the Unifix cubes. And for my second grade class, we use them a lot for number sequence, and it's been a little challenging, but we also use them for patterns, which I really like. And so the teacher will do maybe a pattern that looks like this, or a pattern that looks like this, and tell the students to continue the pattern, or maybe a green, brown, brown, and continue that pattern. And it helps students work with continuing on and continuing the pattern. And I really like these because they're fun to play with. And I mean, when I played with them when I was little, I couldn't even tell they were educational. And it lets the students pull apart and put things together. I really liked in my second grade classroom during my practicum, we're doing multiplication and we're practicing dividing into equal parts to multiply. And so for these, you can say there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 right here. You have 8 and you have 4 students. And so how many does each student get? And so it helps the students break apart to pieces of 4. And if we want to say they all want equal parts, that really helps, because then they can see exactly that they all are the same height. And that was one of the things that has been challenging for my students to realize equal parts. And that's what we've been really trying to teach, because you can divide this into 4 separate parts in several different ways, but working on dividing into 4 equal parts. Or the other thing, if we're doing multiplication, multiplying them in different groups. And that's another thing that has been challenging for the students. If we want to say we have 6 groups of 3, like I said, we could figure out, okay, so we have more of these, and we need to find 6 groups that each have 3. And then we can compare that, saying if 3 groups of 6, does that mean the same thing? So then we can have them rearrange it and find that, oh, 3 groups of 6 also equals 6 groups of 3. And that would mean 6 times 3 equals 3 times 6, which is 18. And then you can reverse that, and like I said, doing the division and breaking it apart. I just really think that this is a very substantial piece to have, and it's very important for the students. And I personally am a very visual learner, so that's how it helps me a lot, because I'm not good at math at all. And so having something to show me so I can break it up, and if it gets jumbled in your head, a lot of students, especially in the second grade, struggle with multiplying and all that in their head, because they're still memorizing counting by 5s. They're still memorizing like all that. And that's another thing you can do. You can have them count by 5s using these, and then have another 5. And so we have 2 5s, and that equals 10. And that can help them with the memorization too. But it's a very visual tool, and it helps them, especially for students who can get confused easily and have to count out on their fingers, have to write it down, because that's how I am. So I think it's a very important tool to have in your classroom for those visual learners, to help them out. And I love how I've been working with them since I was little, and I have a lot of experience with them, and I will definitely continue to use them in my classroom.